Right now, somewhere in this world, a child has gotten used to the sound of explosions. A mother wakes up every morning with the same question: is today the day? A father who couldn't protect his family and hasn't forgiven himself since. We watch this on our screens. We pause for a moment. We feel something, and then we scroll on. But have you ever stopped to ask, what is actually happening inside the minds of the people who can't scroll past it? Because war destroys buildings, destroys cities. But what we're talking about today is a quieter, deeper kind of destruction. What happens to a person on the inside? The brain has one priority above all else: survive. The moment it senses danger, the whole system goes into alarm mode. Sleep disappears. Concentration breaks apart. Every sound, every shadow starts to feel like a threat. This system was designed for a few hours of danger. But what happens when that alarm never shuts off? What if the threat isn't a moment? It's your entire life. That's when the brain does something very interesting. It shuts itself down. Numbness sets in. People go through the motions, cooking, talking, walking, feeling almost nothing inside. This isn't weakness. It's the brain's way of protecting itself. But that protection comes at a cost. After the acute phase passes, or when someone finally reaches safety, that's when the real weight surfaces. Nightmares, sudden panic, freezing at an ordinary sound, feeling like you're still living back there, even when you're not. But there's something even heavier than fear. Think about this: a father who couldn't protect his family, someone who lost the person they loved most, or someone who was forced to just watch and couldn't do a thing. These people aren't only suffering from what happened to them, they're suffering from a question. Why did I survive? Could I have done more? Am I still a good person? Those questions can echo inside a person long after the bombs have gone quiet. And that wound goes deeper than fear, because it touches identity. It touches a person's belief about who they are. Everything we just described is hard for adults. For children, it's in a completely different category. Because a child's brain is still under construction, a child who grows up under constant fear learns one fundamental thing about the world: it is not safe. And this isn't just a thought. The brain actually develops differently. The parts responsible for trust, empathy, and emotional regulation are shaped by chronic stress in ways that last a lifetime. These children may one day be physically safe, but inside, they may still be living in that war zone. It might show up as anger, as difficulty trusting people, as an anxiety that seems to have no reason. The war doesn't end inside the child until someone helps them end it. Here's where the human mind genuinely surprises us. Because there are people who lose everything and somehow stand back up. Not stronger in the way we usually mean, different stronger. They develop a deeper empathy. They find far more meaning in the small moments of life. They can understand another person's pain in a way most people never could. Psychologists call this post-traumatic growth, which means the brain can be both the most fragile thing and the most resilient at the same time. That's the paradox. So what does the research say actually makes a difference? 3 things stand out across every study. First, having someone beside you. Isolation amplifies everything. A hand, a voice, a presence heals more than we realize. Second, being able to talk about it. Putting what happened into words helps the brain process and integrate the experience. Sometimes talking is the most powerful medicine there is. Third, regaining even a small sense of control. deciding what to eat today, choosing where to sit. It sounds small, but for someone who's had everything taken from them, these tiny choices are the first steps of rebuilding a life. When we think about people living in war zones, what usually comes to mind? How terrible that must be. Yes, it is terrible. But their story isn't only one of suffering. It's also the story of how the human mind, even in the deepest darkness, keeps looking for light. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, let it be this. Every person you see on that screen is living inside a psychology. And that psychology is not as different from yours as you might think. Leave me a comment. Do you think people come out of hard times stronger, or do they just learn to live with it? See you in the next one.